All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Most Potato Podcast. I'm Alvin. This is Jess.
You got it right this time.
Yes, I did. Got it right the last time, too. Okay. Yes. And welcome to another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you guys are enjoying your lovely summer, or if you're in some part of the world where there is no summer, I hope you're enjoying whatever season you're in. So today we are going to have a really fun time. We're having a double feature with this episode. We're going to be talking season 4 of The Boys and the final season, part 1 of Cobra Kai. All right, so then let's start things off with The Boys. I think we just get that out the way because you already just feel like you're done with this show.
I'm not done with it. I just feel like
nothing
happens.
I think we're equally
season.
disappointed for this season, but you took it, I think, harder.
Yeah, I was bored. Like if I'm reading something else, or if I'm on my phone a lot, or if I'm like playing like Zelda or something like that while we're supposed to be watching something new, I'm not. It's
That's a
no.
problem.
Yeah, I mean, and like last Sunday, I kind of did that with the last episode of House of the Dragon. Because it was it was a slow episode, so I'm just like, I just, pull out my Switch and, collect some Koroks and stuff like that on Legend of Zelda. And
you're just promoting Zelda here, just
yes.
talking Zelda, wearing Zelda.
But I feel like last season, because this is season 4, so season 3, it was a lot of like setup. Let's get ready. Let's figure out.
Season 3 was really entertaining.
It was, and I felt like this was just an extension of it. But
this
like
was a bunch of fucking filler. If I'm being very direct,
because it's still the end of the season. Just like, what are we gonna do now to get Homelander, or are we gonna? And I'm just like, can we just come up with a plan and like have it be good? All this season did was be extra gross and gory and boring.
Yeah,
like that's just. Most of the stuff I can't even look at, and I'm just like, I don't like super gross things like that, but most of it I couldn't even look at, and I felt like they were just trying to top previous seasons, like shock factor and like grossness and all stuff, and I was just like, okay, well, what else do you got? Like, I want a story. Where's the story? Like, That's
fair. That's exactly how I feel too. And we're going to go into all like sorts of details with like the problems that we had, as well as some of the stuff that we like, because there's some stuff that I at least liked. I think they're far and few in between, but I think there's good stuff to mention as well. But anyone who's not familiar with The Boys, I mean, I feel like if you're not watching The Boys, you wouldn't be on this video. But just in case you're not familiar, The Boys are once again scrambling to stop Homelander as he aggressively plots to shape the country into a soup supremacy nation. With a new death virus that can kill any soup thrown in the mix, along with political strife and a dying butcher, things look super dire for The Boys this time around. And I appreciate what we've got from The Boys so far. Like, the first 3 seasons I thought were like very strong, entertaining seasons. And I liked, for the most part, the kind of political commentary that they were making in terms of how would superheroes actually operate in like a capitalist, corporate America. And I feel like this would be like a pretty like standard thing that we would see today. They would be like super cops, super militaries, and they would just be assholes, honestly.
Especially because they're made in this show. They're made. I feel like
they're not natural born heroes.
Yeah, a lot of the things that we see, they're just naturally that way. That's how they were born.
That is until soups start having kids. Then then they start becoming naturally born with the powers. But it starts with artificial like injection of the compound V. Like the first 3 seasons I thought were strong. I mean, I thought they had their weaknesses here and there, but nothing as glaring as what I felt here in season 4. And I was really shocked to find myself week by week just being more and more frustrated by a new thing.
I know, you're like, do you want to watch this tonight, or should we just wait till the blood?
Yeah, like I never used to feel that way about The Boys, and then like this season I just felt like, I could put this off another day,
which we've been doing.
yeah, and that is not okay. I'm not happy with that, and I feel like there's a lot of people that feel that way, and then there's like the side of the fandom that like calls you stupid just because you have a totally different opinion, and it's just like, come on. Like, you can't like every single fucking thing that you see. You've got to have critiques about something. I critique all the things that I like. I'm critiquing the things that I like right now. I like The Boys a lot.
I critique One Piece, and I love One Piece, but I critique it.
Yes. Show tough love to your favorite things.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Everything's not
it's
always
fine.
perfect. You can still love it, but admit it. Stupid JJK fans. Stupid solo
Damn,
leveling
you're coming
fans.
for blood.
Solo leveling fans. That's why the Rising of the Shield Hero is better than that. Even though the last 2 seasons sucked, kind of. They were kind of slow. But it's better than solo leveling, and I don't care what anybody says.
You got no arguments from me there. So yeah, let's just start with some of the stuff that stood out this season. So I really liked the start where we find out that Butcher's actually dying. He's got like a terminal thing going on after the events of season 3, where it was so cataclysmic last season that I really needed something to follow up with this story. Mm-hmm. The fact that Butcher went so far as to take Temp V in order to kill this man Homelander, like, he hated him so much. He's like, you know what? I'm going to be the worst fucking thing that I can become. Mm-hmm. I'm going to become the exact thing that I hate just so I can fucking get a chance to kill you.
Yeah.
Still doesn't get to do it because Ryan gets in the way, and he has to protect Ryan. And I am all in support of that. I'm all in support of that, even after this season. Because I like that they're softening Butcher, and then we get to explore Butcher trying to become more gentler and finding other ways of doing the right thing by not always going towards violence first. So I like the angle that they took with him being terminal, because that kind of pushes him to be like, all right, I want to be able to change. I know I'm not going to be a good person at the end, but I got to do something different because my ex-wife's kid is involved. I made a promise to her that I was going to keep him safe and keep his head straight. And he genuinely does love the Ryan kid. Yeah. Like, he basically does treat him like his own son. And I really love that because it takes a special kind of strength in character to be there for the child that doesn't belong to you and was a product of, like, sexual assault from freaking Homelander.
And who basically killed your wife.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot to take in. He should easily hate him, and he still is fighting for him. And I love the angle that they took with him. But then it also, like, it's like a mixed bag with him having, like, the cancer virus thing, because it's also, like, a superpower. And it took so long to, like, explore like what exactly was going on. Like it was starting to act like a Venom suit for him.
Yeah,
like
it made me think of Kaiju. Like it's just this weird worm inside of him, and it'll just change him. Because I was just like, is he dying, or does he need to, like, does he
have to embrace it?
Yeah, which it seems like that's what the end of season. Yeah, so it's just like, so he's gonna be alive.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It's like, because you see the huge drastic change in his appearance. Like, he looks like he's about to die the whole season. Yeah. And then when he embraces the tumor virus thing, I call it Tumor V.
Okay.
When he embraces that power and he accepts, the Joe Kessler fictional character that's in his head the whole time, he looks totally normal. Like, he looked like he went to a barber shop, got a bit of a lineup on his beard. His skin is like just silky smooth. Yeah. And it's just like, I wish they took more time to really explore that deeply, because they just kept teasing it and teasing it and teasing it, and it was like compounded with so many other subplots that we didn't care about, that I started not caring that much about what exactly was going on with the worm that was crawling around in his brain.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, how did you feel about Butcher being terminal this season? Like, did you feel bad for him at all? Did you care? Because he's been such a huge asshole up until this point, minus the character development he went through season 3 about not always being so one-track minded about violence.
I'm a little indifferent. Like, I just feel like, I'm like, fuck, that sucks, man. Like,
that's rough, buddy.
Yeah, and I do like Butcher's character. He's like a fucking laugh.
No, he's so charismatic. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
but they also know how to make him very likable too.
Yeah, so like I do like his character, but it was just like you kind of see it coming from last season, where it's just like they were like, you need to stop taking that shit. It's literally killing
that shit was
you.
Wrecking him. I'm surprised Huey didn't get some of that cancer too.
Exactly. So I was like expecting something to happen. So when he was saying that he's sick, I did like, the conversation he had with Ryan when Ryan was just like, are you scared? And he like admitted, like, he's like, yeah, I'm fucking scared. And
that was a great moment.
That was a great moment. And I was just like, oh,
all the moments
scared.
with Ryan were great, and they're so far and few between.
Yes.
There's barely any interactions.
Because Ryan keeps doing those puppet shows and he doesn't have time to hang out.
I hated those segments, man. They led to nothing.
I know. But yeah, I feel a little indifferent about it. I'm just kind of like waiting to see where things go because I don't know how different. I think it's different from the graphic novel.
Oh, it's vastly different.
Super different. So I don't know anything about these characters besides what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
And like I'm feeling like Butcher is going to die. I feel like there's no ending where he's alive. I think like
they'd have to write some sort of bullshit ex machina thing.
If he does survive, but I feel like his story ends with him dying, and not in like a super tragic way. I don't think he would go out in a tragic way or anything like that. I'm hoping not, but I feel like that's what's gonna happen. So I'm like okay with letting him go as long as he achieves his goal.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm like really. I don't give a shit about like any characters really. I don't really care too much about any characters. Like even Huey, I don't really care. I think I stopped caring
he's
so
just
much.
Okay.
Yeah, after maybe like season 2, because like the first time I watched The Boys, like I was like shocked, like probably many people were when A-Train ran through Huey's girlfriend. That sounds
that pun.
but literally, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? What is this? And I just feel like after season 2, I was like, okay, Huey's gonna be fine. He's embracing the fucked upness of this
he's
world,
not fine,
but he's not fine.
Not in this season.
This season, they just I don't know what it is, but they just really abused the shit out of Huey this season. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it was a little unnecessary, especially with his dad being sick.
Yeah.
And him going through that, it was just like thing after thing after thing, and I feel like they try to beat up on the characters a lot, like Annie. They had her going through stuff where her powers wasn't working. Huey's dad dies after was it him or the mom that injected him with the...
It was the mom.
Okay, yeah. After that whole weird hospital shit, and then we kind of just threw that on the back burner. It was just like, it was just done. Scene. Next thing. I don't really care about Frenchie or Kimiko. Frenchie's stories are stupid. I think I was done with his stories last season.
With the whole Russian thing,
background.
It like loosely tied into Soldier Boy, just because Soldier Boy was held captive in Russia.
That was
it.
I was like, what is the point to this?
And then his backstory gets even more convoluted and just messy and disconnected this season.
Yeah,
with this whole like having a lover who's like this guy whose parents he murdered many years ago.
Basically his whole family, and I was just like, I don't care. No one cares. The boys don't care. I don't care. Why are you turning yourself in just to come back and help us and make everything? I didn't care about that. I feel like I don't like. I'm cool with Like
MM's a cool character. I just hate that he gets put through so much.
I hate
shit.
that he shaved. That's the only thing.
He looks funny without the beard.
I hate that he shaved. I was just like, who the fuck is that? And you're like, Evan. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So, let's just get into like the jumbled plots, basically. There's so many subplots that take a majority of the time instead of the main plot, which is the political scheming that's being set up here, the whole presidential campaigns that's looking very aligned with what's going on in our reality.
Yeah.
They barely spend time on that and more time with stuff like fucking Frenchie's subplot, which doesn't add anything. And I'm sorry, Frenchie is like a likable character, but these are the kinds of characters that are just like kind of thinly written. And then the more they try to add on to this character, the more it just like doesn't really add anything, which is really weird. It's like it's not connecting to the main stuff going on, and we need these things to connect, because now it's starting to feel like a spin-off series built into the main series.
And it's not just his story, it's Kimiko's story.
And Kimiko's.
There's a random girl that she was put up against a fight in
back in the Philippines, and I'm just like, what are we doing?
And I'm like, why is she chasing after you now? Why do we care about this? We don't. I just...
It's all over the place. And again, this feels like material for spin-offs or like exclusive separate videos if you want to watch something on like YouTube to get more like context with these characters. But they don't feel like actually like fully fledged stories that could fit into these 8-episode seasons. There's no room for that. And it's just so frustrating that this season just like packed it on.
Yeah.
Because they ultimately didn't really lead anywhere. Kimiko's subplot, it's just like she ran into this girl that she knew, and then that's it.
Yeah.
They fought once, and then it doesn't resolve itself. It doesn't connect to Homelander in any way. Frenchie's subplot of him having a boyfriend and then finally admitting that he killed his fucking parents. and then that doesn't go anywhere. Then he puts himself in jail just to get sprung out the next episode.
Yeah, we keep waiting on episodes of Kimiko waiting for him, like, and he doesn't want to see her. I'm like, we could be using this to kill Homelander, like, or something, or talking with Ryan. I don't know.
Something. Like, talking with Ryan. I care about stuff with Ryan, and they barely touch on that.
Yeah.
To me, that is a huge fucking deal, because Homelander and Butcher are fighting for the soul of this kid. Homelander wants him to be a murderous fucking tyrant who sees humans as nothing but like fodder. And Butcher's trying to do the opposite. And that should have been the main meat of this season after the fallout of season 3. You failed to kill Homelander because you gave up that chance to save the boy. That should cause a lot of tension, a lot of plots, a lot of just attention to that, and they just didn't do that. And I thought that was fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was.
I really thought it was weird that they didn't focus on that, and instead we got Frenchie shit, Kimiko shit, Huey's parents for some odd reason. I love Simon Pegg, but I didn't care about the dad passing away, really. It's just like, I mean, where does this fit?
I feel like the Seven, their side was more interesting than the boys, and we're supposed to kind of be on the boys' side for this sort of thing. And
because I like the stuff with like A-Train and
not interesting in like I'm rooting for them, but just like there was
engaging.
They were getting shit done.
Yeah,
like I was just like, okay, like you guys are doing new things. Like you have Sage or Sister Sage. I hate that. And then the Firecracker.
Oh God, Cracker.
And like they're the two new ones. Oh, and then what's his name? The one that's not supposed to be talking.
Oh, the Deep.
No.
I mean, no, sorry, not the Deep. Black Noir.
Black
Black Noir.
I was just gonna Noir, but same thing. Whatever. And I'm just like, why is he talking? I totally forgot he died. Or Homelander killed him, and I was just like, isn't he not supposed to talk? And I was having the same reaction that all the other characters.
Yeah.
They were just like, he talked, and I was just like, okay, he talks, but that's not really him. So all that stuff was interesting with them, and as always, Homelander, whenever he makes the slightest twitch of his face or whatever, always puts me on edge, which is always like,
dude,
good.
Anthony Starr, man.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'd be like, Alvin. And
I know his lip is twitching. I know.
And it's just that they were good. Like that side was good. That had
everything with the boys themselves was really fucking mediocre.
It really was. So I feel like that's like a big like.
No.
Yeah.
That's a big story no.
Because it's not called the Seven, it's called the boys. So it's just like, come on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree there. It really made for a frustrating watch this season. And I just don't know why they felt that they had to spend so much time with these characters that really don't have much going on. And then on top of that, they put these characters through just nonstop trauma.
Yeah. Like,
there's a lot of sexual violence that happens to the male character specifically. Like, again, I'm a fan of gross out humor, but to some extent.
Yeah.
Like, the gross out humor has been, for the most part, fine in the past couple seasons. But now, like, after reflecting on this season, I'm also bothered by some other stuff that have happened in previous seasons. You mentioned MM, where he's a likable guy, but they don't do much with him other than he's this struggling family man, and he's always stressed. Yeah. He's always like almost getting heart palpitations with these missions, and it's catching up to him this season.
Hives, this season, basically.
Relatable.
Yeah,
like I've been there.
Like I really just didn't like all the scenes with him, like when he went to that web booty guy.
Let's talk about Web Weaver, because that is where, because I drew the line right there. The gross out humor of that fucking character, that's where I just drew the line.
Yeah.
I just couldn't anymore.
It was just disgusting.
When had to shove his hand up his second asshole to inject drugs in him just to get information and intel so that he could get his suit, and then go to the fucking the Seven party to infiltrate their plans. I was just like, why does always have to be exposed in this way where he's somehow always being sexually assaulted? The last 2 seasons, he was getting whipped around by the Vought dick.
The Vought peen.
The giant the guy with the giant Vought peen, just like always getting slammed on, and then he even gets jizzed on in season 3. Oh, yeah. And I laughed at that when it first happened, and it took me a while to realize, like, wow, this is actually fucked up. Like, specifically with a big black character who is being dominated sexually by these white dudes with like big dicks and like jizzing everywhere. I was just like, I smell racism, and I don't care if people think I'm overreacting. you're not paying close attention here. Like this is very intentional what they're doing. They're going too far with their edginess. I'm fine with a bit of edgy action and edgy humor, but when it gets to the point where you're just trying to be edgy, you start getting into really problematic territory.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if it was like his character was always the character that like kept getting like blood splattered on him, or like falling into like, you know, like mud, or just he's always like made a mess of. But it's always like these weird sexual
bodily fluids and parts.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why does this keep happening? And I was just like, why is M injecting this thing in this weaver hole and all this stuff? I was like,
I fucking hated the Web Weaver character, man. I hated that whole section.
It just didn't make any sense to me. I really don't like that. And then Huey,
poor guy.
Yeah. I really was like, what is the purpose of this? Because I forget what the character's name is, but the one that
Tech Knight.
His
all-time hero.
His childhood hero. I was going to say Sir Night-Eye, but
I keep confusing them too.
It was something smart or whatever.
My hero just got too edgy. Damn.
But Tech Knight, I don't remember him, but he was
in Gen V.
Gen V?
Yeah. He had a very small role in that.
There's a lot of stuff that is like thrown away and that should have been thrown away. I was like, do we really need to know that he has like some weird kinky dungeon thing with Web Weaver and Ashley?
Yeah.
And who else? I don't even want to know. It was stupid. It was just really dumb. I was like, do we have time for this? I'm like, we're supposed to be like getting.
It was a whole episode of Huey getting his feet tickled, farting in cakes, like just being humiliated against his will. And there's like so many arguments I heard online saying, well, Huey consented to this. I'm like, what did he consent to? He consented to infiltrating in the mission.
Yeah.
He didn't know he was going to go into a sex dungeon until he went into that bookcase with that man, went downstairs, and then that's when it all happened.
I don't want to be on social media really like that, but I haven't been. I didn't know that. Like, people were
I've seen it in like comments under videos.
Consented to
assault.
I didn't even consent to watching his assault. Like, I really didn't know it was going to happen. And it took so long for him to get rescued to the point where it was just...
Because again, I got caught up in the humor, admittedly. At first I was laughing, but then as it kept going on, and I'm like, wait, this is just fucked, man. He just lost his dad not that long ago, and then now he's just getting thrown into like this assault situation.
No, I was cringing the whole time. I thought all of it was disgusting. They wasted a perfectly good chocolate cake, and I was just like, I really don't want to watch this. Like, Ashley's involved, and I was just like, this is just getting... This is too much.
Yeah, and again, this is what I mentioned earlier about the boys just being too edgy this season. It's getting to the point where we're really like coming across these major issues that we have in a patriarchal society where men do not take sexual assault serious when it happens to men. And that's why so many men like go underreported when it comes to these cases, because they're afraid that their peers are going to make fun of them, or they're just the mere thought of maybe somebody will make fun of me makes me not want to come out and say something. And then here we are just like doing slapstick humor with Huey, seeing his all-time hero, knowing that he's a piece of shit, and then now being subjected to like his disgusting like sexual perversions. It's just like the boys has to do better with this kind of topic, because that is a very serious topic. Because they had tackled sexual assault with Starlight in season 1, and they framed that in a way that was serious. When she was forced to blow the deep in order to stay in the 7, that was framed in a way that wasn't comedic at all. If you put a female character in this same situation with Huey, they would have filmed it in a very grim sort of way. It would not be like the slapstick humor that we got with Huey. So I think that's something that they seriously need to like check and like really pay attention to for like the final season. Because I think that is really problematic, and that just keeps perpetuating the message that men shouldn't come out and take care of themselves, take care of each other when somebody is harmed. And that's not okay. Like, there's women that try to speak out for men, and then that still isn't enough because the men don't feel comfortable enough to do that. So I don't know. I think it was very irresponsible writing in that regard. It really did take me out of that the season multiple times.
They try to do way too much, try to make it like more over the top than it's already been. And like I said, I couldn't watch a lot of it. Like, I was like cringing, or I was just like, Like, I can't.
Yeah.
For like the gross parts and the parts where I was just like, this makes me uncomfortable. Like, I am uncomfortable for him, and he's like kind of like, ha, and I'm just like,
Like, it's like they're trying to make you laugh, but you're just doing the opposite, like, thing, and it's just like, that's not okay. If the person is feeling really uncomfortable and you're framing it as a funny thing, you've clearly missed the mark. You failed. Because
it was just so obvious. He went in there disguised as Web Weaver, just hoping to, I don't know, get information about the prisons. And then it just didn't turn out like that, and I was just like, can we just leave? I don't know. You should say, oh, I forgot my webs in the car or something. Like, I don't know. I just wanted it not to happen. It was happening. So yeah.
So those kinds of things really took me out this season. It wasn't just one time. It was multiple times of certain things like that happening to male characters.
Oh, and we didn't even talk about the episode with Homelander when he goes back to where they were keeping him when he was a kid, doing all those gruesome tests on him.
That was a highlight for me.
That was a good episode, but also him having the guy basically like masturbate in front of everybody
before he killed him.
Yeah. And I was just like, everybody that was in the room or whatever was like looking away, and I was looking away. I was like, just fucking kill him, just kill him already. Like, that's.
Oh, I felt the opposite.
I was just like, because like
I felt the opposite.
Really, you felt the opposite? Like, I felt bad for a young boy Homelander, knowing that they basically
ridiculed him and tortured him.
They tortured him, and they made it so that way he would be dependent on people's approval, on someone's approval, and have basically that weird mommy like breast milk issue that he has going on. They did that to him. Yeah. And I felt bad for the child Homelander. And it's like, I can't feel bad for this adult man Homelander. I really can't, but I feel bad for the child Homelander. So it's just like, you kind of wanted these people to be tortured, but not really, because they were just like, they're just doing their job. But it's just like, you could quit. You don't have to do this job. I mean, they'll get someone else to do it, and then that person will just say, oh, I was just doing my job. But it's just like, you're torturing a little boy who was basically like made in like a fucking tube, basically. So like, I get it, and I was just like, yeah, you guys need to pay, but like, not everybody that was there really needed. They had some new people there, like they just started working there a couple years ago. Like, they didn't. It's just, but I was just like, I didn't like that whole like weird thing that they had going there. I was just like, just kill them, like you usually do. But like, he had to make it all.
You know, he never makes it that quick, unless he's really that agitated. Yeah. No, I felt the total opposite. I think that's very interesting. I enjoy the slow burn torture of making these people so frightened and embarrassed before killing them, because I'm in the mentality where it doesn't matter how long you've been working at Vought. If you're working for a corporation like Vought, you are contributing to something very awful and drastic, very directly. Yeah. Every position that we've seen in that room, they're all directly involved with creating people like Homelander. They know exactly what the jig is, and they know damn well that this is not humane. This is very immoral. This is wrong. So I felt the total opposite, where whoever he was torturing and then killing in that room, I felt like, you know what? Fuck them. Because if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be a Homelander. If it wasn't for this corporation, we wouldn't have all these suits running around and committing all kinds of atrocities. So I was feeling the opposite. I was like, you know what? Yeah, make that guy jerk off before you kill him. See if he can actually get a chub before you laser him. Maybe that's a sadistic part of me. I don't know. Those
two guys, that guy and the one that he had basically go into the oven,
the furnace.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, they were there since he was kids.
Yeah.
Everybody else wasn't, but I get what you're saying, where it's just like, you know what you're doing, you're working.
Yeah, and like you said, they could leave and go to another job,
and they
you
didn't.
chose to stay here.
But I was just like, you guys never once thought that eventually Homelander might like
come and pop off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I felt satisfied during that moment. It was still very disturbing, but I was like, you know what? A part of me is satisfied too, because
I guess I'm a little more humane, because I would have just took
maybe
him. I'm just like, just take him out, just kill him, just do it. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
But I get like why he's doing that, why he's dragging it out, and you know, he really
and it made for this one of the strongest episodes in this season. Yes. Every time we explore Homelander to some degree, it's always entertaining, it's always fascinating. It makes you kind of empathize with him a little bit more, sympathize with him a little more, even though he's a just like unredeemable piece of shit. I love when they explore his character a little further, and this episode was a very standout one. I'm glad we had that one because there honestly wasn't enough episodes like that.
Yeah, we would have just started the video with season 4 trash. Going on to Cobra Kai, more trash.
Yeah, so I really appreciated that exploration of Homelander because it then just reinforces why he's so fixated on molding Ryan into the perfect son that he wants.
Yeah.
I kind of feel for him because he didn't grow up with love at all, and with the huge disappointment that he had with Soldier Boy not accepting him and embracing him, I get why he's so hard on just like making Ryan just love him as much as possible. But we also see how that just doesn't work for Ryan. Like he spent too many times with people that actually cared about him.
Yeah.
So he's at the crossroads of where he could be. Is he going to be like Homelander, or is he going to be like someone like Butcher or like somebody better? And I really hope the next season really just tightens that focus, because now we're set up at a point where Ryan looks like he's going down a villainy path like his father.
I'm like, I thought we were already going to do that. I thought that's what was going to be this season, because at the end of season 3 where Homelander lasers that guy for like throwing like a tissue at Ryan or something like that.
Yeah.
And then like Ryan's just like, oh yeah, like no one can do anything or say anything to me. And like it's like he's a little kid, so like easily you can mold him into whatever you want. And I thought that's how we were going to start off this season. Like, but he's kind of just chilling, you know, at VOT or whatever it's called, playing video games, and then like being like, oh yeah, you're going to do these like these hero save things, but they're all fake and they're all staged.
Yeah. Which
and
is interesting.
Yeah, and he's like confused by it. Like no one's like teaching him how to really like control his powers or use them.
They're just teaching him how to just do propaganda for superheroes.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I thought he was gonna be like a little shit for like maybe like a couple episodes in, and then you know Butcher comes in or Homelander does something where Ryan's just like, I need like a parental like to take care of me and to make me feel better. I'm feeling some type of way because the kid's going through it.
Oh yeah.
And there's no one there to really listen to him or talk to him.
His mom's gone.
His mom's gone. Butcher can't get to him.
Yeah.
As much as
very
he's
rarely
tried.
do they get to interact.
He tried to talk to him through video games, and I was just like,
was funny.
how did you even manage to get into the same like chat room as him or whatever?
You had to buy a whole video game console.
Yeah. So
oi Ryan. On your left.
You stupid. But yeah, I thought he was gonna just be like a little shit to start with, and then you know come down from there, and then do I stay with Homelander or do I go with Butcher?
I just wanted that tug and that back and forth, man, that tug of war for
and
this
they
kid.
Like kind of did it.
Lightly.
Then they just threw it out for like Frenchie's bullshit or just some other
Kimiko's
stupid thing.
bullshit, Starlight shit,
Yeah.
Huey shit. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this. I'm looking forward to the next season because it's the final season, and I'm just like, y'all better kill Homelander. That's all I care about, and y'all better have some good episodes.
I want the opposite. I do not want to kill Homelander. I mentioned this to you before. I want Homelander to have his powers completely zapped from him.
Oh yes.
I want because they teased Soldier Boy coming back at the end of the season. I want to get his ass. I want to kill his ego. I don't want to kill him physically. I want Soldier Boy to zap him of his powers, leave him, and then let him just ruminate in the fact that he is no longer the god that he thinks he is. He is just fucking human.
Yeah.
He is the thing that he hates the most, and he has to live with that in prison. I want that. If they don't end the series like that, they fucked up the show. In my opinion, fucked up the show.
I don't know.
If you just kill him and that's it, no. That's not... I don't think that's a powerful enough ending.
Okay.
Because they set it up. So I think they're setting up for him to just lose his powers and then live with it. And be punished for it for the rest of his life. Because there's no redeemable qualities about this man.
So you think that's what Frenchie's going to cook up instead? Like, you think do you think they're going to come up with, like, something that kills the soups? Or
I think they're done with that.
You think they're done with that?
I think because, first of all, Butcher has the virus, and that means Frenchie would have to try to make another one, and with how hard that was, and him being mind-wiped right now, I don't think that's going to be another plot device, and I don't want that to be another plot device. I really want... Because I think Soldier Boy is going to be thrown in the mix, and I think he's somehow going to be utilized in getting rid of Homelander's powers... And then leaving him.
How do you think that?
I'm not sure. I really don't know whether he does it intentionally, if somebody could convince him, or they manipulate him in a way. I don't know. The mind wipe girl could be used against him. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I can't stand her ass.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think that's how it's going to end. I don't think it simply ends with Homelander just being killed. Maybe he lives for a little while after losing his powers and feeling humiliated, and maybe
then he
off
gets hit
himself.
by a bus. Oh, yeah. I was thinking that too. Yeah.
But I really want him to sit and live with the fact that he has like this monumental identity crisis if he doesn't have his powers.
I mean, he stay having that with all them pubes in that jar and whatnot. Like, yeah. I think I would be satisfied. I really want him to hurt, and I feel like that could hurt him. It's just like
that is the ultimate hurt that I think for Homelander.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how they pull it off in the next final season that we have to wait for in like another 2 years.
I'm tired of this.
Yeah. Well, at least it's more consistent than lots of Netflix shows, which we'll be getting into fairly soon.
Emily and Perry is going to have 2 parts, and I think that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous.
Save that for the next section we're about to get into. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so I think I'm done with all my thoughts on this series overall.
How are you rating it?
I will give it, honestly, people are going to think I might be too hard on this show, but I'm going with a salty spud. Ooh. I was going to say, like, baked potato, but I found myself really not enjoying a good bulk of this season.
Yeah.
When there's only just highlight moments and a few standout episodes here and there, it doesn't make for a good season in my eyes. I've had good seasons. 1 through 3 have proved that. Mm-hmm. Season 4 is a major step down. Yeah. So I'm giving it a salty spud.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I was gonna just give it a baked potato, but
the more we talk about it, the more frustrated we get.
Yeah, and the more I just don't care. I'm just ready for it to be over, and I'm more mad that I have to wait 2 years maybe for another season just to finally put this one to rest. I'm done. I really am. So this was a really disappointing season. I wasn't paying much attention. Like I said, when I'm doing something else, you're not holding me there. Exactly. And I didn't like all the just disgusting things that they thought they had to do.
It was too much.
It was too much. Like I said, Homelander's episode, that's what I was expecting from, more of the episodes this season. That's kind of what they've done in previous seasons. We're getting to know more about Homelander and why he is the way he is. I like episodes like that. We need episodes like that for even Butcher. If he had an episode, something like that,
because he has stuff like that in season 3 with his little brother.
That would be really good to have. But I'm sorry, Frenchie, Kimiko, even MM. I don't need anything from them. You guys already touched on it, and I just need to know who these characters are and why they act the way that they act. Set that up in season 1, maybe season 2,
and then that's it.
But don't keep coming up with stories for Frenchie. Don't keep pulling people out of Kimiko's past.
Because we're at the finish line.
Yes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Yeah. The goal is Homelander and dealing with that. That's all that we're trying to do. So I was really disappointed for this season. Hopefully the final season,
I think they can knock it out of the park. It's 3 for 1. They're doing good so far with consistency. True. So I think they can. I think they have a chance of finishing this off right.
Yeah.
All right, so those are our thoughts on The Boys Season 4. Now moving on to Cobra Kai, Final Season, Part 1, Miyagi-Do, Cobra Kai.
I hate hearing Miyagi-Do. It's so annoying. LaRusso's so annoying. Oh, my God.
We'll get to that for sure. All right, so now we're talking about this season of Cobra Kai. I've been dying for this final season to come. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this series when I first heard that it was on YouTube Red. I never watched YouTube Red. I didn't pay for you. I'm not gonna pay $20 fucking for YouTube. It makes no sense. But when I first saw the series on YouTube, I'm like, oh, this looks cheesy. It looks like some shitty gimmicky.
Did. I was confused as to why you were watching it.
Yeah, profiting off of childhood nostalgia from the Karate Kid. Mind you, I'm not even a huge Karate Kid fan. I think it's okay.
I don't think I even watched the movies.
And the best part is you don't have to.
Yeah.
You get so much context throughout the series.
They do, especially when they do the flashbacks of the older characters. They do a really good job.
Yeah. So then when it finally hit Netflix with season 1, I was like, I don't know what compelled me. I think our friend Danny told us to watch it.
Yeah.
I think that's so. Shout out to you, Danny. Thank you. And I fell in love with the series as soon as I started watching it, and I've just been loving the show ever since, with all its strengths and its weaknesses.
I think I came in when Miguel cracked that back.
That's when you came in and you were just like, "What is this?"
Replay the tape. We're gonna rewatch from the beginning.
Oh my god, that was funny. So I'm glad you got sucked into this.
Yeah.
Because now I have somebody to talk to about this, and now we're at the series finale, season 6.
Oh, it's 6?
Yeah.
Damn.
I know, that's a long time for a streaming show. That's a lot of seasons.
Yeah.
So we're now at the final season of Cobra Kai, and after the defeat of Terry Silver last season, the newly rejuvenated Miyagi-Do karate team sets their sights on winning the legendary Sekai Taikai tournament. I think that's how you pronounce it. With the combined powers of Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do teachings, with Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence have to lead their new team, and there's a huge question mark on whether or not they can lead these kids to victory. Because they keep fucking fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm getting kind of sick and tired of these two grown-ass men not getting their shit together after 6 seasons.
I don't know. I'm getting sick and tired of everything. I got annoyed when people were making up. I got annoyed when people were falling out. I think I'm just annoyed in general.
Yeah. This season's really, really interesting because they're trying to set up these weird turmoils that really shouldn't be there anymore, but they're for some reason bubbling up because now there's like individual stakes involved about who gets chosen to go to the tournament.
Yeah.
And I don't know, so far it's feeling a little forced in terms of like some of the drama that we've seen so far. Also doesn't help that we only got 5 episodes to work off of, which I need to rant about for like a good second here, because I am so sick and tired of getting these partial fucking seasons. Because even right now, I don't feel like I'm doing the show justice by reviewing just 5 episodes.
Yeah.
When there's 15 episodes already filmed, cut, edited, colored, everything, just ready to go. 15 episodes, and they're just piecemealing it. 1 in July, 1 in November, and then the next in 2025 with some no specified month at all.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why are we doing this shit? Why do we keep doing this? Why did we do this with Bridgerton? Why did we do this with Stranger Things? Why are we continuing to do this? You mentioned Emily in Paris just now.
Yes.
That show has not a lot of plot going on.
It really doesn't. I know you said you would never watch it. I don't think I'll get you on it like Bridgerton.
I kept trying when you watched and it just wasn't for me.
It's not even really for me. I'm not even sure. I think it's like something that's like easy to watch. It's not that hard to follow. There's like a drama that you want to know how it ends, but while it's getting to those points, it doesn't really matter.
And now it's being split into parts.
It's being split, and I'm just like, this show is so slow.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to split it. Just drop the episodes. Do it weekly. Weekly would be fine. I know I said I don't even give a shit about weekly, like, at this point. Weekly is for, like, I don't know, the 2010, 11, or whatever, back in those days when I was watching Vampire Diaries on CW, and I would sit down at my TV
That's my
quickly.
type. I love that.
We don't do that anymore.
We rarely
streaming, it doesn't do that. It can't do that. So do a weekly thing. It's all going to be on your service. We have to keep the service for however long, but for you to be like, I'm going to just split this up into like 5 parts, and
it's withholding. It's not even like it's not even
done, right?
It's all done. It's all filmed. They filmed for months. It's all done.
So I can't understand. Netflix is full of shit. Like,
they did the same shit with Invincible on Amazon out of nowhere. It wasn't even announced.
They didn't even promote it properly,
and then didn't promote when it came back.
Yes. And I didn't care. I was just like,
and that was a weekly drop.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is the purpose of this other than trying to have us shackled to your streaming service as long as possible, along with like your stupid password sharing, and making it harder to cancel the plans? It's just like you're just fucking with the viewing experience.
I'm telling you guys, pick up a book. Just do it. Just pick up books.
Let's all cancel Netflix for a good year.
I don't want no Kindle. I pick up a book. Paper.
It's fucking insane because I don't feel like I'm properly rating this show.
I'm giving this a rotten potato, and I just like
already.
Yeah, I am. I hated it.
Wow.
I really didn't. Like I said, all the drama that they started making between characters or making them make up, it really just seemed like forced and. The acting was never like really like top notch for me in the show.
No, but it's fitting for the tone.
Yes,
it's supposed to be melodramatic.
But for some reason, what we got in these 5 episodes, I really didn't like it, and I didn't like the last episode with what was going on with Tori, which we'll get into. I couldn't believe that this is what they put together. They
made us wait all these years for 5 measly episodes.
And now we have to wait till what, November
for the next batch.
And I'm just like, is it going to be
How many people are
going
to fucking remember what they watched back in July? Now you're going to have to make them rewatch.
I don't really remember what I watched, and we just watched this like yesterday. I don't, it's not, it was disappointing. We needed more. We really
because this
more.
is the type of show where some seasons it took a couple episodes of build up before you found out what the main plot really is. Mm-hmm. That's basically what I feel like was happening up until they got to the Sekai Taikai in Spain. And then it just felt sudden that they were already there. And then there's this like huge drama bubbling up. And I'm just like, I don't know if the filming got affected knowing that this was going to be in parts or if they had always planned it to be that way. And it's just awkward because they're breaking it into parts. Either way, I'm not going to know because it's being kept away from me. It feels very dissatisfying just watching 25% of a fucking show after waiting how many years.
And I feel like what they're going to do in part 2 is show us what happened between like them picking who the captains were. Was it the captains they were picking? Between them picking who the captains were and them getting to Spain. And it's just like, at that point, you should have cut most of the bullshit that you did in this first part, and then we could have hashed through all of that. So that way, when we do get to the second part, where you guys are in Spain for the tournament already, it'll feel like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen here? How's that gonna, turn out? But I'm just like, I know they're gonna, for the second part, they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, so this is what had happened.
I hope they just go straight into the tournament because there's no point. There's 5 episodes.
They're gonna do it, but they're gonna do a lot of flashback.
Yeah,
they're gonna throw that in
just
there.
like a weekly anime series.
Yeah, because basically, because I was just like, when we just jumped there, I was just like, wait, what the.
We're already here. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, I wanted to see someone
like,
pack a bag.
Tori's already at Cobra Kai with John Kreese. What?
What? Yeah.
Are we gonna get a prequel episode or two about that?
Can we just end here?
No. No. We're gonna keep talking about this. No. We've got so many issues with what's going on so far, and the main reason is because we don't have the full season for the full picture yet. So I'm curious to see how we're gonna feel once we finally get the last fucking 10 episodes. But either way, I'm not going to be able to enjoy this season just because it's not being viewed in the way that it was meant to be viewed.
Yeah.
And this shit just needs to stop. If it's a bad season, let me know by like just letting me watch weekly all at once. Don't do this stupid shit where you're just withholding the fucking series. There's no point. You already make us wait so long for these shows. It's insane.
It's so ridiculous.
Anyways, let's get into specific plots that have come up. So we mentioned that Daniel, LaRusso, and Johnny, they're still butting heads. Mm-hmm. There's moments where they're really gelling with each other. I like that there's a back and forth where sometimes they're on the same page, and then something just triggers something for them to be like, you know what, fuck you. Mm-hmm. It's like they're just fucking man-childs that just, like, they don't seem like they're ever going to fully get along, and it looks like they're back to, like, officially fighting again.
Yeah.
Because Johnny's just like, you know what? After the Sekai Taikai, I'm done. I'm not gonna teach karate with you anymore.
Good, because I'm done too after it. Like, I don't really care. And
I just feel like I don't know. I don't know if that drama is still needed anymore. Because I feel like they went through so much. The fact that they're sharing Miyagi-Do, I feel like that should just at this point solidify them. Yeah. I don't know if they need to be fighting anymore.
I feel like they should have just like ended that last season. It should have been done.
Yeah,
like,
they've been through so much shit.
Yeah,
so many villains that they took down.
And then what's his face, LaRusso? He can't get over this old man. I just like
a Miyagi dick.
Something I don't know what that man got a hold on him and he ain't even here anymore. I'm just so tired. He's like, I find a box. There's like stuff in here. Like, what does this mean? Is he not who I thought he was? Who cares? I don't. Like, I don't think anybody cares. Everyone's over it. Like, his wife is just like...
His poor wife hears nothing. I don't think they've had sex for months. I think she just listens to him talk about Miyagi.
I know. You said she was like, damn, she's his therapist, like, at this point. And it's like... Yeah, that's what it feels like.
She'd be talking like a therapist. I'm like, damn, woman. Like, you need a vacation.
Something. I'm sick and tired of it. I really am.
It's so funny. It's just like, I feel like we should be done at this point. It's like they keep trying to add backstory to this dead man. I'm just like, it could be interesting, but it really doesn't affect the plot overall because now there's like this weird connection with Daniel LaRusso just finding out that Mr. Miyagi may or may not have been involved in some sort of robbery back in the day.
Yeah.
And it's connected to like this old headband with this insignia that's the same insignia that we see from the Sekai Taikai tournament.
They try to be like dun dun dun. I was just like, shut the fuck up. What's happening?
Yeah, because now they're I guess they're trying to make this connection that because he entered into the Sekai Taikai and never told Daniel about it, that maybe somehow that led him down a dark path after doing the tournament, because they keep reiterating like, oh, this tournament is going to fuck you up.
And wasn't there blood on the band? That
there was old blood on the headband, so I guess it's fucking really brutal out there for whatever reason. I don't know. So this whole like subplot that they try to set up with Mr. Miyagi having a dark, crooked past, it's just like, I really don't care. Yeah. I never really cared whenever he reminisced about Mr. Miyagi. It's nice for like 2 minutes, but when you make it a plot,
it was fine when he was like trying to teach them wax on, wax off, clip the bonsai tree, all that shit like that. I was just like, okay, that's good. Like we learning something. But now I'm just like, let this man go. Let this man rest.
Yeah,
like, please. Like I don't care.
Please let this man rest. But no. I feel like in this season, he's going to go to the graveyard and try to just do alchemy and just like try to really bring this motherfucker back. He can't seem to live without this guy.
Well, hopefully he loses his tongue in the process so he could stop saying Mr. Miyagi. So annoying.
Yeah. Please just don't focus on that plot too much.
Yeah.
But there are some things that I did like. I did like the themes of like redemption and like letting go of hate and anger in like the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Who did that? Because
they were starting to do that, but then started getting undone because of this fucking Sekai Taikai. So like I like the initial thing with like Kenny and Miyagi-Do, where he what's his face? Robbie. He still feels very guilt-ridden about putting Kenny through so much abuse with their time during Cobra Kai. Mm-hmm. And now Kenny doesn't feel like he belongs anywhere. I like that even though Robbie was kind of pushing boundaries, trying to like keep talking to this kid, even though his older brother told him to back off, it ultimately worked in their favor, because when they have that scuffle at the baseball cages, the older brother actually starts talking sense to Kenny, talking about like, listen, man, they were fighting us. They had so many open shots for you, and they didn't take any of them.
Yeah,
clearly they're trying to like talk some sense into
I was glad that they just didn't like
There's
make
like some
him
nuance.
an ignorant like older brother. And
just got out of juvie, so he's ignorant.
Yeah, I wouldn't have liked that for.
That's
a
where I thought it was
character.
going at first.
Yeah, I would not have liked that for him at all, and I would have been like, seriously, this is what you guys are doing with him. So I mentioned that to you. I was like, oh, I'm surprised they're making his character have reason and not making him be like some bad kid who's in juvie and just wants to fight, and so I appreciated that. I just couldn't stand like Robbie and like those 3
and Sam,
just like they're just like, we're gonna keep pushing him. We're gonna do it. I'm just like,
leave this black boy alone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, leave him alone, like, or try something else. But like back, like y'all just kept pushing.
Give him a day or 2 at least.
Exactly. But then the writing made it okay or whatever. But I was just like, can y'all give him some space?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, write a letter.
I just
something.
think it's funny how every time they'd resolve things, it's always through fist fights.
Yeah.
It's always through karate. It's like, again, that's part of like the what do I want to say here? The super exaggerated elements of how people behave in this show. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't work in any other show, but it works for here.
Yeah.
Because this low-key feels like a live-action anime series. Just the melodrama is just so over the top.
Mm-hmm. It's like watching Windbreakers.
They have to communicate with their fists.
Yes.
You like communicate your feelings, what you really want to say. It'll show through your karate.
Yeah.
So I like that they still keep that up. It's silly, but it's like a good silly.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that they ended up having Kenny join Miyagi-Do, even though that soon gets fucked up. Because now all this mention of the Sekai Taikai, now it makes all these teenagers just like get antsy and just want to tear each other apart.
Like crazy. And
like Tori and Sam finally had a reconciliation with the sleepover episode. Mm-hmm. They were already friends before, but then they started arguing with each other, waiting for their Ubers, because Sam never properly apologized for, I forget what it was, something to do with their partners or something. I don't know. But there was something that Sam didn't apologize for. Mm-hmm. And that would have easily been a moment where Sam would have just went off and just went harder.
Yeah.
But she took the time to reflect, and she was like, you know what? You're right. That's something I'd never apologize for, and I'm truly sorry. Mm-hmm. And I should have apologized sooner. I'm apologizing way too late. And Tori accepts that. I like those moments were great, and then they quickly get undone with the Sekai Taikai, and then Tori losing her mom.
Yeah, that I have a big issue with all that.
You want to get into that then?
I'm sorry.
It felt very rushed.
It felt rushed.
Yeah.
And I don't even like Tori. I don't like her character. I can't stand her face. Like, I stay wanting to fight her. Like, she'd probably beat my ass. But, like, I don't really care for the Tori character.
Yeah. I appreciate it. She's come a long way.
She's come a long way. I admit that. And, you know, she's taking care of her mother. You know, her and Robbie, they can't really think about college right now, but I wanted them to. Like, I still want them to. And I can see it kind of like, there's like a little bit of like jealousy when they hear like the other kids talking about it, knowing that that's something that they can't have or is going to be difficult for them to attain. But when her mom dies, like, she comes home, and that's after running into Kreese or whatever.
Yeah.
You thought that he killed her mom. I was just like, I don't think they're going to go in that direction.
I thought it was some telenovela type shit, but I was wrong. Nah.
I don't think they're going to go in that direction, but it was definitely, I was just like, damn, I was like, he shows up, you know, she has all this stuff going on. She wants to get into the tournament. Yeah, and then her mom dies, and I was just like, holy shit. Robbie's looking for her so they could go practice together the next day. I was just like, okay, I can understand, you know, she calls the ambulance, they take her mom to the hospital, she's pronounced dead, she doesn't call anybody, she doesn't want to talk to anybody. Yeah. Next day, everybody's at school, hanging out, worrying about, oh yeah, I have to beat so-and-so, and I'm just like, anybody checking on Tori? Nobody know where Tori is? Tori's not at school. And Robbie's just like, oh, have y'all seen her? And they're just like, no. He's like, we're supposed to go hang out or like practice together. And I'm like, you didn't go to her house? Like, he's
not
been
once
calling.
does he go to physically check on her.
Yes.
It's like, what? And it's not even a character problem. It's a writing problem.
It is really bad writing problem. I'm like, that's her boyfriend.
Why are you not checking at her apartment?
Why are you not? Yeah, I would have
2 days
up.
of no calls, no texts. I should go over there in case she hasn't collapsed for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah, something's... And then this is also... After she told Robbie, not to tell anybody, but she told Robbie that she ran into Kreese and like everything, and she's like, don't say anything because I don't want anybody to like feel like I might be like aligning or something like that. Yeah. So he knew about that. You knew that about Kreese. You haven't been hearing from her.
That should have been a huge fucking deal because first of all, he fled. Like from imprisonment.
Exactly.
Like, I'm just like, that should have been huge alarms. It's like, what? I gotta tell
don't
fucking sensei.
Ooh. So that, I think this is what made me say, like, you know, like, this is just not a good... I'm rating this, like, the lowest because I was so upset. Like, I couldn't stop talking about it while we were watching it, and I was just like, no one's gonna check on her. Like, 2 days passed, maybe, I think it is, and they're getting ready to pick the captains. Like, they have to compete who's gonna be the captain when they go to Spain. Yeah. Tori's not there. No one's worried about Tori, except for who? Mrs. LaRusso. She's just like, where's Tori?
She's the only one that's had her back.
Exactly. And I was just like, fuck. I'm like, you're gonna have this everybody, the dojo, whatever, you guys are all supposed to have each other's back. You guys are supposed to care.
Very weird decision to go ahead and start picking captains through these fights and then not even realize that Tori's not there to participate. Then it's just like nobody went to like look for her.
Then she shows up looking all like
just got done crying.
Yeah, she looks a mess, and no one, like, maybe like Miss LaRusso said, like, looks at her and she's just like, huh, like, what's up with her? Then Miss LaRusso gets the fucking call. Yes. From like the hospital of what happened, and then that's when she's like, they have to stop the fight. Yeah. I didn't like that Johnny and Daniel, they were going about it, because I didn't like that Johnny was just like, no, let her fight, and it was just like,
I want to ask, was he wrong for doing that? For trying to let Tori fight?
He was wrong for not taking a pause or wanting to take the pause. Once he explains, like, his situation, he's just like, all I wanted to do was fight, and that got me through it. I could understand that. Even before he said that, I could understand that. But I'm just like, she probably would have killed Sam's ass, like, you know, or hurt herself or something. I don't know.
That last punch was looking like it was going to break her jaw or something.
Yeah, I was just like, this ain't Kill Bill with the 5 heart attack shit. I was just like, that's what's going to happen. I thought Sam was going to die. I really did. I was worried for her, and I don't even like her either. Yeah. And it really bothered me that they wrote Tori and the situation surrounding, like, you know, her issues like this. I hated it. It made me, I said, she got her boyfriend Robbie, she got, you know, her peers in the dojo, she has her teachers. No one is checking on her. Like, no, if the hospital didn't call, it would have just kept going.
Right.
And I didn't like that they wrote him to not want to pause. Like, you could have just been like, he could explain to, Daniel and just been like, let her, like, this is clearly what she wants or whatever. Let's get back to it. But they stopped. I can understand why Daniel's just like, wait, we need to, like, check. Are you okay? And I was like, why y'all care now? After all this time.
But you might as well start caring now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really I didn't like any of it.
Yeah.
It really, really bothered me. And I feel like a lot happened, like, in this part with, like, the girl Lee. Mm-hmm. They made her, like, rabid and crazy.
Yeah.
Gave Kenny, like, laxatives, and then she won a spot, and I was like, you bitch.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. I don't know if her character was, like, kind of always like that, but they made her, like, she needs validation. She needs to be picked. And I was just like, there's so many of you, not all of you going to get picked. You're not bad, but, like, the main characters are Robbie, Sam, Tori, and Miguel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's just what it is. Like, and Hawk too. Yes. Him and Dimitri. Even Dimitri.
Even Dimitri.
I'm like, no offense, girl, but chill. I was annoyed.
You're a
with
newcomer
that.
here.
Yeah.
Why are you starting problems?
I would have even liked if Kenny was in. And he's a newcomer too. Like, he's he should have
had more. There was actually more reason for there to be struggle with him.
Yes.
Compared to compared to Devin, who just out of nowhere is just like, I have to be the best, even if I have to make this kid shit his pants.
I was just like, what the fuck? I was so annoyed.
It feels very scattered and rushed.
And I'm confused as to how no one is, like, really talking to each other. That's where I was, like, annoyed with the fact that people were making up so easily or falling out so easily. Because there's still a lot of unresolved shit, even though I feel like everybody's just trying to get along because they're all under one dojo now. And it's just like, you guys still need to talk out your shit. Like, I don't understand. What are you, an immigrant parent? Like, I just, like, we need to sit down and we need to talk this shit out or, like, hash things out properly. No one's doing that. So then with Kenny, he thought it was LaRusso's son. I forget the kid's name. Anthony. Yeah, he thought it was him that, like, basically, like, messed up this opportunity for him. And it wasn't. It was Lee. And I was just like, oh, shit. It was her.
Yep.
I'm just like, no one's talking. And then he's just like, oh, they wouldn't believe me anyway. And I was just like, well, you would be wrong, but, like, someone needs to look into that because, like, how did you like, why are you taking shitting yourself? Like, out of the
that
blue?
dude looked like he was in pain. It wasn't a natural, like, neither of the senseis went to check on him and be like, hey, are you okay? What happened?
And it's just, I'm like, I don't know. I need emotional support, guys. Like, I need some, like, these kids need it. I need it. Well, if I'm going to be, I can't. That's I feel like somebody need to take care of these kids. That's how
No, for real. Because, the senseis are not doing it.
Yeah.
The senseis are not doing it.
But anyways, I'm done ranting. I didn't like this first part, guys. Like, that's all I can say. We're going to keep talking about it, but that was, like, the biggest thing for me. I really didn't like it, and I'm, like, not looking forward to part 2 because I'm like, you guys are just going to flash back between what happened then and Spain, and it's just going to be like, I don't care.
And it's only going to be another 5 episodes, which, again, that's not a viewing experience. Binge watching 5 episodes in the span of, like, a year, basically. Like, what the fuck is this?
Like, just do weekly drops, and then it could be like the olden days where you're like 2 weeks or 3 weeks break or whatever. I can accept that, but then give me the rest of my episodes. Like,
because this is insane.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. Like, because the first 5 episodes feel very chaotic, and it doesn't help that we don't have the rest of the series to really put any connections together, if there are any.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of those same complaints as you. Like, totally 100% agree with all your frustrations. That's how I felt too. Even though I did at least find myself still enjoying all the usual stuff that we get from the show, which is like the humor, a lot of the melodrama, the sweet moments whenever it doesn't get undone by the Sekai Taikai shit. I at least have those moments. And again, I love all, like, the characters that we've grown up with in terms of, like, watching this series from season 1 to now. Miguel is still, like, my go-to man. He's my main character. He's, even though he's been kind of annoying with the Sekai Taikai, but then they put him back straight after he lost to Robbie. Yeah. Because he, for some reason, was, like, super fixated on being captain because he's scared that he's not getting into any colleges. Yeah. And it's just, like, you need to fit the time for, like, these kinds of problems, because if you're just gonna set it up just to quickly resolve it, then there was no point in setting up that tension to begin with. Yeah. And then, like, the stuff with, like, fucking Dimitri and Hawk is, like, the stupidest fucking drama I've seen in a while in a show. Yeah. They're fighting because Dimitri is completely bullying this kid for not applying to MIT. And this dude Hawk is trying to be vulnerable right now. He's like, dude, after we went to that college party, I realized there's other options for me, and I don't want to just bank all on MIT and then not get in.
Kids.
Yeah, and possibly not get in and not have all these backup options.
Yeah, that's also stupid. That was like for Dimitri too. Even if he is like smart enough to get into MIT, like still have backups. And I feel like everybody should still have backups. And I couldn't understand, why are you hating on Hawk for not wanting to go
instead of being understanding, being like, yo, this shit is scary. Like, I remember myself applying to colleges and being like, shit, like all these places I'm applying to, I know I can't afford. I know I'm not going to take loans for this shit. Scholarships will only take me so far if I want to go to these places. And I ended up going to community college, which was like the best, honestly, decision of my life. But it's like nobody really tells you what right options are. They just tell you, oh, apply to wherever, like the best ones you think you can get into. It's like, it's not just that. What are the other options that you have? What if you don't feel like college is right for you?
Exactly.
That's kind of where Hawk is right now in this place. He's not like a super brainiac, really. And he knows what he's capable of and what he's not. And to be vulnerable with like a friend like that and just be completely shat on just because he withheld this from you, and it's just like, you need to understand why he was keeping this from you. It was like, this is exactly why.
Yeah.
He was scared that you would retaliate like this. And he's just, now they're just like setting up this huge tension during the Sekai Taikai, where since Tori can't join and she's now in Cobra Kai, now Hawk is part of the lineup with Dimitri.
Should have been. I'm sorry,
he should have been, because he's an OG and he's actually good. He's really good. I was like,
he's just gonna sit here like back at the States. Like, I don't understand. I was like, what? So I was like, there's no way. There's got to be a reason. Then I was like, oh, when we got to Tori's thing, I was like, Tori's not gonna be a part of it or whatever. And I was like, what? She's gonna be with Cobra Kai.
It was very predictable. And there was like no real build up whatsoever.
And I was like, good for her. Let her be with Cobra Kai, because none of these motherfuckers at Miyagi-Do gave a shit about her. No one cared about her, even if Kreese is just using her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, come on, like, ugh.
Yeah. So the whole Dimitri and Hawk thing is probably one of the worst subplots I've seen. I feel like their friendship is too strong to be just overturned by like a fucking college decision.
Like, Dimitri, what the fuck
are you like? I'm sorry. Are you his dad?
Yeah.
Are you like his strict fucking immigrant dad that's like, why did you not apply? It's like, come on. That's what we're arguing about here. It's not about like something related to their karate and their friendship.
Or it could have been that, you know, their school was only taking one student for MIT and they both got in, or they both thought they were going to get in, and it was actually, I thought that was what happened. I thought Hawk got into MIT and then Dimitri was like waitlisted, or he was rejected or deferred. Yeah. Or he was probably waitlisted, and then Hawk was going to be like, okay, I don't want to go here, so like spot's yours or whatever. But it was just like, you didn't apply. And I was like, shut the fuck up.
Didn't realize I was his dad, but I guess so.
That's stupid.
So a lot of the, I'm not finding a lot of good reasons for a lot of the tensions between characters this time around, just because a lot of them already resolved their shit either prior to the season or the beginning of the season. And for it to be undone because of like just like messy, lazy writing, it's really not satisfying right now. It's not panning out right.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping the rest of the season can really fix some of that, because just going based off of 5 episodes, I don't see why there's so much drama right now. So I don't know. I feel like it's weird. I enjoyed watching, like, just revisiting the world, but I didn't enjoy the story.
Yeah.
I think that's the most frustrating thing about this season is I enjoy being back, but it's also not the same. It's like coming back home and then you realize, oh, your parents are fucking fighting, and then your brother's fighting, your sister's fighting. I'm just like, why? I came back after like 5 years of not seeing you, and now this shit's happening.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. So I don't know. I don't think I have any more thoughts on this partial season of Cobra Kai.
I mean,
unless you got anything.
I've been told you, let's stop talking about this. Like,
all right. Well, since you already gave your rotten potato, I'm gonna go ahead and give this one. I'm giving this, again, a salty spud. It's a stronger one. It's slightly stronger than the boys, because I found myself enjoying myself more, ironically enough, even though this was messier with the writing. But it was something about revisiting the characters in this world that just made me feel like, I'm back. I'm liking this, but I'm also really not liking parts of this. And I'm hoping the rest of this shit gets fixed.
Yeah.
So I just really hate that we only watched 5 episodes. I guess I don't see this ending anytime soon now that other shows are doing this. And I'm just hoping that it stops at some point because it's really getting in the way of entertainment. So, yeah. So you gave it a rotten potato.
Yes.
And I'm doing a salty spud. All right. So those are our thoughts on Cobra Kai and the boys as well. So, yeah, just let us know your thoughts in the comments about what you thought about season 4 of The Boys. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you hate it? How did you feel about Cobra Kai as well? What are your predictions for The Boys and Cobra Kai as well? Let us know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, notification bells, all that good stuff. Sparkle, sparkle, tail wag. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next one. Peace.